So many agents thinking that buying Zillow leads or paying for ads will help them get their first few deals. But think about it. You just got started. You have no money. I have built my business with not paying for any leads, and I am going to show you in this video how I got my first 5 deals in my first 5 months. Hi, I'm Amanda, a local real estate agent here in the Seattle area, and I am going to be showing you in this video how I closed my first 5 deals without paying for any leads. Hey, I get it. Starting off new and also not have a budget, it's almost for everybody that's starting real estate. I don't know about you. I don't have rich parents, and I didn't have any money that was just laying around. And even when I started with real estate, I wasn't even sure if that was something that I wanted to do. I knew I was committed to the process. I knew I was committed to consistency, but not necessarily a budget of like, how much am I going to spend every single month, especially toward ads, which I didn't even know what to put it out there, or to be paying for leads that I was not quite sure how I was going to take care of them. But here's the thing. I knew that I needed to tap into what I was going to be more comfortable with in my first couple of months. I am very grateful for the mentors that I had at the time. And I know, especially coming as new, you are just like, where the leads are going to come from? You know, how I'm going to close my first deal. The average in the industry, it is almost like 6 months for you to get your first deal. And I was feeling very lucky and blessed and a lot of hard work that in my first 5 months, I was able to close 5 deals. I totally get it. The fear, the excitement, all the emotions that comes together when you're first getting started. And, you want to be successful. You want to be, not the story that we hear of so many agents that get started and then very quickly quit. Or even in my case, I was starting as a part-time agent, and there's already so many odds against us because I'm not dedicating the same amount of time as someone else that maybe it's full-time. But again, going back to a few things: consistency, being visible, and getting loud. That was something that I knew I had to do, even if I had fears in my stomach a lot of the times that I needed to put myself out there. So let me talk about my first 3 deals. As I shared, some of the things that I focused on from the very beginning was getting on social media literally from day one. When I announced I am in real estate, I knew I was going to have to be posting between 4 to 5 times every single week. I didn't know exactly at the time what I was going to post. I was, looking and mimicking and what other agents were doing that maybe align with myself. And at that time, I didn't even know. I knew I liked the order. So I had a color and a logo. I got those things done before I announced I was in real estate, but I didn't know yet who I wanted to be and how I wanted to present myself on social media. But I knew I needed to do something. And so I started doing, short videos on Instagram where I wanted to talk about like things that I was learning as well on the go. What are the different type of loans? How do you get pre-approved? And I know those things seem so basic and everybody should know, but guess what? The more and more you work with some clients, you will know that they have no idea what those options are. So educating videos, I knew that I wanted to educate whoever was watching, that I was going to show, that someone with authority. And then also I was learning on the go about a lot of those new terms that were for me. I felt like I was, especially English being a second language, that this was totally like a whole new world of new words and things that I just really never talked about it. And then the second thing that I was doing, so social media was like, okay, I know I'm going to do this. And then the second one, right away, I started doing open houses. And, my first few weeks, I didn't have an open house sign. And I borrowed, from someone on my team just to host the open until I got a sign. Again, don't let the little things stop you for taking action. My first open house, someone went with me and we kind of did a little dual of, shadowing a little bit and seeing how he was interacting with people coming in. But I have to say, I tried a little bit of everything now in my 3.5 years in real estate with open houses. I would have a full on, water and snacks and a signing sheet to, using an app that my company was providing for you to, to gather people's information. So then I was like using an iPad for people to check in, sometimes just having water, sometimes having nothing, sometimes having a flyer, sometimes going all out. Recently, I had, gummy bears, chips, everything branded, I also, something that I think has been helping me with my open houses is also having a buyer and a seller's guide printed out. I know it costs a little bit of money, but again, it's more promo, more showing if someone is coming in. And especially for someone that is thinking about buying and needs to sell, they will see my presentation. And I want to, again, elevate myself, take myself to the next level. They might be going to a bunch of different open houses, and the presentation that when they come in, they will know the difference from going to another agent and going to your open house. And then last but not least, my sphere. And that's one I know a lot of new agents struggle, because you're fearful of how they're going to react. You're fearful if they're not going to be supportive to you. Or maybe you I'd rather have a cold lead, someone that I don't know, than work with someone that I do know. And I hear you, and I felt the same thing. But again, I did not let that stop me. It definitely took me maybe 2 months or so, because there were so many trainings and new things that I was doing. But I created a little blurb, something simple, nothing too long, just saying, hey, I'm so excited to share that I am in real estate right now. And if you ever think about buying, and if you would consider working with me or selling, or if you know anybody, family, friend that you send my referral, here's all my contact information. And I had obviously my phone number, email, my website, and then I had, my Instagram there as well for them to follow for, my content talking more about real estate. And I literally, if you want to talk about spam, I spam my entire database on my phone, that little message, copy and paste from A through Z. So it took me a long time, because I did have over 1,000 names on my phone. And I have to say, a lot of them, I didn't even remember how I met them. I only had maybe a first name. And I was just like, who are these people? But regardless, I still message everybody. I get some, don't do this again, back off, F-bombs, and a little heart or congratulations or absolutely no response. Yes, I got all the above. But again, my focus was I wanted people to know what I was doing. I know that my market has a lot of agents, and I'm sure in yours as well. And I needed to be loud. I needed to, to show that I was in this business to win and to, showcase what I was doing. If I'm afraid of doing that and not telling anybody, again, they might still choose to work with someone else. It's their choice. But you need to let them know you're in this business and you want their business whenever they're ready. And so that was the 3 strategies. And to be honest, that's still kind of my bread and butter all of these years. I do other few things and have added, other strategy, but these were the 3 things that I really work hard on it. So how did I get my first client? My first client came from me, as I shared, I was, decided that I was going to go strong on social media. So I got, my headshot that I did. I also created a little blurb. And then I went into all the communities on Facebook that I was part of that allowed me to post. So, I just post and introduced myself, that I was in real estate. If anybody, need any help. I didn't say, hello, I'm new. I just shared that I am in real estate. And if there's anything that they needed, they could contact me, and had all my information. And I kid you not, my first deal was actually a Facebook lead, which was incredible to think about. In 1 month, someone reached out to me because she saw my message in one of the Facebook groups. And sadly, they were going through a divorce, but the ex-husband agreed that she could pick the agent, and she wanted a woman. And here we go. She picked me. We, had listing presentation with her, but it was just so smooth, and she already knew she was working with me. Signed all the paper as well with her ex, because I had to go see the house with her, and then did a little mini Zoom presentation as well, because the ex-husband was no longer here in the Washington state. And I worked my behind off for that deal, and we were able to get it on the market quite quickly, and had to help a lot because she was in the midst of moving to another state. And in the beginning wanted to do a lot of things on her own, like painting the house. Oh, I enjoy doing that. But one thing you enjoy, it's another thing you're doing it and how much time that takes. But we got that house ready, fully staged, beautiful pictures done, and went on the market on a Thursday, and then by Monday we got an offer. So it was only like 4 or 5 days max on the market. We got an offer, and that was my first deal. And then my second client, which was like super cool. I met this guy in an event like many years ago, totally random, that he came with another friend that he met inside an Uber. Think about that. They did a Uber sharing, and then the friend say like, hey, I'm going to a rooftop party. Do you want to join us? And he did. Funny enough, he is American, but he had been to Brazil and loved the culture, so he actually knew some Portuguese. So we connected right away, and and became friends, and he became friends with our group. Fast forward, pandemic happens. I hadn't seen him in a long time. And then he contacted me that he had got married during the pandemic, and his wife, which I have never met, told him, when we're ready to buy, we're going to use your friend. And I just had been on real estate again for a few months, but whatever I post, whatever she saw, even though without meeting me, she told him that we needed to work together. So they contacted me, and then so my second client was a buyer, and we started looking for properties, and they made an offer, and here we go. And as I shared, I was doing open houses, and whenever I do an open house, and I'm sure hopefully you do that too, and again, the power of social media, I will post my open houses advertisement on my page. Hey, I'm going to be in this location, and put it on my stories. Again, people are watching that. And doing open houses, I feel like it goes beyond even the open house itself on that day when you meet the client that possibly might be walking through those doors, but also all the content that you can create from those properties to put on your social media. And I put one of these homes, that I was going to do an open house, and on my stories. And another friend saw the home, and she's like, I absolutely love this home. I'm starting to talk to my husband, and they already actually had a townhouse that they were living, but now they wanted to move to a house. And so she's like, I'm going to talk to him. This is walking distance to some places we want to be. We're not even looking or thinking. We're not pre-approved. But then one house sparkled the interest. Then they went and got pre-approved. We actually never saw that house that they thought they loved it on my story, but we started the process of looking, and they needed, in able to buy, they needed to sell. But we started looking for a property first, and it was actually very short. We found the house that they were, that they loved, and then we had to put a contingency into that offer that they needed to sell their townhouse. And I remember we had like less than 7 days. We did a quick turnaround. Their townhouse was beautiful because when they bought it, it was new and only a few years of use. And we did a half stage because some of their furniture was nice, but still we wanted to depersonalize and make it more like, open for anybody that could come in. I'll never forget, it was like a 4th of July weekend. And you never know what that's going to look like because people are, barbecuing and partying and doing other things. But, doing open houses. Only I think maybe 2 or 3 couples came, but one of those couple loved the home and put the offer. So we went on the market in less than 7 days. And then the first weekend that they were on the market, we got an offer, and then here we go. So we're contingent to that sell. So we were able to make that, 2 deals, which was incredible experience and super grateful, obviously to my friends that trusted me at the time, and we're able to do 2 deals in one and helping them buy and sell. They still live in that house. I go visit often, and it's lovely to see the progression on people's lives. And then my last deal, to turn into that 5th deal, at the time that I was helping this couple buy and sell, the brother of the husband was living with them for a little bit, and at that moment when they're going to be transitioning to their new property, he was no longer going to go with them. So either he was going to go find a place to rent, and then they poked the question, why don't you see if you actually can buy instead of go rent a condo? Maybe you can buy a condo. And that's exactly what happened. So out of that one household, we helped them sell, buy, and the brother-in-law to buy his property. So that was a pretty, obviously, blessed transaction that under one roof, I got 3 transactions. So all of that happened really fast. So within my first 5 months, I was able to get 2 listings, 3 buyers, social media, sparkle from some of the houses that I was putting from open houses, and but both coming from my sphere. But one of them I hadn't seen in years, but when they were ready, they already knew that they wanted to work with me, only for a few announcements that I put in that I was in real estate. But he was the difference, because I was so consistent with my social media and posting 5 times a week, just created this momentum. And people that would come to my page and see it, they thought I was in the business a lot longer. So it was not a lie or anything like that, but I was just trying to post as much as I could and be consistent. And that has been paying it off. It paid off in the beginning, and definitely still paying it off now that I am in the business, 3.5 years later. So again, all of this hard work was definitely a lot of hours investment, with social and being at open houses and creating content and speaking with my sphere. But be real, be you, be authentic, and, be present. People need to know that you are in real estate, and all of this, again, no paying leads, it was mostly my time. And I think obviously our time is precious. But these were all deals that people already knew they wanted to work with me. When you get a cold lead that you paid for, not always, they might click on something that almost they feel that they already regretted that they gave their information away. And when you call them, there's absolutely no guarantees that they will even work with you. You're going to have to get that cold lead and warm that lead up to, possibly become a client. But when you're already kind of building trust on social media, which is crazy, just by the amount of being who you are, authentic and real, people connect with you. And when they reach out to you, they already know they want to work with you. It's been very rare that someone that feels random, right? Because I don't know them, but they feel like they know me. So when we have that first call, they already know that they want to work with me. I feel like I haven't had one person that reached out to me from social media that was just trying to, check me out and see what I'm all about. If what they see on social is still real, all of them have worked with me. And so, don't hide away from the cameras. Don't hide away from, talking to your friends. Again, have I had friends that also bought with other people, sold with other people, other agents? Absolutely. All of those scenarios will happen. But I also, my theory is that I want them to think about me, regardless if they use someone else. So, be visible. I definitely recommend, especially when you're beginning, don't think about that you need to be spending money to buy leads. And I know it's intimidating, or sometimes you start with a team that is feeding you leads, but they're taking like 50% of your commission. I'm not here judging that decision, but if you are in that position, I would really ask you to reconsider, because you're always getting fed. You're getting just a little bit. If you actually want to be winning this business from the long run, you need to learn how to get your leads. You need to learn how to cultivate a community that they're going to be thinking about you, so that the leads are just going to continue freely. You don't have to pay anything. And the best part, you get your full commission, and you don't have to share with another tier of a team lead And, for the same hard working that you would do, instead of getting, 50%, you might get 80% or something along those lines. But I am so grateful that you're here. I hope this helping encourage you if you're getting started. And if you ever have any questions and wants to connect, feel free to look on the description. I have my calendar in there. You can schedule a call. I would love to share, and help you get started if there's something that you're just kind of wondering, or you have questions, or you're figuring out, hey, Amanda, I love what you're saying, but I still need the guidance. Can I join your group? Absolutely. I would love to have all those conversations with you. And even if it's just to help you win and you're not interested in joining my group, still schedule that call. I would love to talk to you. And thank you again for staying tuned. We are always adding more videos here and amazing interviews. So make sure you're subscribing and liking the videos. Share what you want to know more, and I'll be happy to create those contents for you. But for now, thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.